I'm going to go over some real basic information on what I expect from the bullet team. You're going to need a piece of paper. It can be a piece of notebook paper. It could even be a Google Doc. But you need to make sure that you have everything documented. It would also be a very good idea to pull out a phone or a video camera and go ahead and document what you did with the evidence, how you treated it, and that kind of thing. In fact, I'm just going to say make sure you have a video. I have 2 video cameras, but you have a camera on your phone. You'll need to upload that video to Schoology so that everyone can take a look at it in case there's any questions on the methodology that you used. So the first thing that you're going to want to do with the bullet is you're going to want to get a mass. We need to know how big this particular bullet is, and so we can use just a balance. Make sure the balance, it can be any balance. This one just happens to go out to another decimal place with the grams, but most of them in my room would be sufficient for this activity. You're going to need to put the bullet onto the scale and go ahead and get a mass in grams. So this one is 14.80 grams. When you're documenting information, you need to make sure that you put the date. So today's date when I'm making this video is March 15th, and it is 2017. Let's go ahead and put the time, which right now it is 10 a.m. as I'm making this video on March 17th or 15th, 2017. And we want to put who is present, so I'm just going to put my name. And then if you have a partner, make sure you put your partner's name. And then you're just going to put what the evidence is. So this would be evidence number, okay, whatever, but just take some basic notes. So if you know more information about this, like where it came from, where it was located in the crime scene, all those are going to be important. But you need notes written down so that you have documentation of exactly what you did. Now, once we have this down, we're just going to go ahead and put the mass. As you can see, the mass has changed, so I'm just going to make sure that this thing really is. All right, this thing is not zeroed, so we're going to hit it again. Try one more time. And that actually made a pretty big difference. So make sure that this thing is zeroed out. Okay, so we put the bullet on and off, and that would be 14.89 grams. Okay, so we know the weight of the bullet. Next thing we want to figure out is the diameter. This will help us determine caliber. So make sure that your calipers are in inches, and it works best for the information I'm giving you to put it into a decimal form. If you need fractions, all you gotta do is hit this blue button, or if you needed millimeters, we can make the conversion really easy with these calipers. These calipers too, just make sure they are 0. If for some reason they're not, there's the 0 button right here. This yellow button allows you to 0 that out. So you're gonna go ahead and measure the diameter, and the best way to do this is right at the base of the bullet. Okay, so that one is showing 4.47 inches, and what you should recognize right away for this particular example bullet that I'm using, that's really close to 0.45. This is a .45 caliber bullet right here. So we're going to go ahead and put that down, 0.44. Make sure that one's right. And make sure it's straight too. If we get it angled, that can make a difference. Another option, we could probably put it on the table. Let's make sure at the base we're actually getting a way better measurement there, so I'm going to suggest that you guys do that. So I just put it on the base of the table, and then I put my calipers, and I just use this little wheel to adjust it, and I am pretty much right at 0.45. I'm going to go ahead and report what's here. We're still plenty close. We know the caliper of this thing. So we're going to put caliber is 0.4495. And then if you know what it is, in parentheses we can put that's a .45 caliber. Okay, or at least we can round it up. So you might have a 9mm, 38. You're going to find they're really close. So if we want to go ahead and get the millimeters on that, we might as well, just so we have it. Okay, so that's inches, which would be 11.42 millimeters. So it's definitely bigger than a 9mm bullet. Next thing we want to do on this is we want to look at the lands and the grooves. And the easiest way to do this is you just kind of take your fingernail and gently just run over the top. usually you're going to catch. So this one's been rounded a little bit because we've used this as a teaching tool for a while now. But I can definitely catch right here, and sometimes there'll be gunpowder residue that's on here that's helpful in identifying where those marks are at, but these were cut by the barrel of the gun. You might also find it helpful if you need to. You can color these in. This one isn't working quite as well because typically there's a little bit of an indentation right here that the tip of the pen catches on. But that works okay. If you do decide to do this, I would recommend using a Sharpie marker. This one is kind of a rare exception for a pen that it actually writes like this. Later on we can take this ink off and won't disturb the bullet whatsoever. Now what you're going to do, make sure you're in inches. We want to measure the width. Actually, let's do this first. Go ahead and put the bullet down. And we're going to determine the direction of the twist. So if you look at the twist, it's going off this direction. So if you can see that on the video, the twist is kind of angling this way. So that would be a left-hand twist. So we're going to go ahead and write that down. It does have a left-hand twist. Then we're going to go ahead and measure how wide are those grooves that have been cut in here. Now this one, you can do one of two things. You can eyeball it. Okay, so that one looks really good. Alright, here's the measurement of the groove. And then you want to check the other ones because they should be consistent. So this one, I'm saying is off just slightly. So I'm going to make an adjustment again. And you can see it doesn't take a lot to really get a change. And then I'm going to investigate that they're consistent. So that actually looks better on that groove. I'm looking, really focusing on the points of the calipers. That one looks really good. Okay. So a little bit of a difference, I think, between these other two, so I'm just going to recheck. Alright, I'm pretty satisfied just going around this bullet that is probably going to be the groove measurement. Now when you go to actually look up information from the manufacturer, you're going to find that there is a range. So as long as you are in that range, you're good.